If you want to be notified when Breakfast Club videos go up, remember to subscribe and click the bell.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Hey guys, Nathyn Brandon Masters, Breakfast Club Wednesdays. I'm actually driving my mom around, running errands. So this is going to be kind of short, but and I know I say that a lot, and it ends up being typically longer than most. But I'm going to try to keep it short this time, and this is just going to be a simple reminder. Sometimes you have to remind people what they're dealing with. Okay, at this moment in time. There's an organization called Buzzfeed. We all know about Buzzfeed. You guys know about Buzzfeed, right? We all know and love Buzzfeed, of course. Now, some of you are out there going, oh damn, Nate's gonna go on another one of his SJW rants. No, I'm not. This is a specifically BuzzFeed rant. A lot of us tend to look at BuzzFeed as another group of YouTubers. They're another group of YouTubers. We may not like or agree with them. Some of us do. Some of us don't. But either way, they're YouTubers. And all in all, we go back and forth. We make fun of them. We crack on them. Whatever. But no, they're not YouTubers. BuzzFeed is a multi-million-dollar company that uses YouTube as a platform to push their shit. Okay? Excuse me. To push their bullshit. The fact of the matter is, that's what they do. They're not YouTubers. They're not like this group of, they're just other YouTubers with different points of view. And no. They're BuzzFeed. And they're an organization that wants YouTube to basically start demonetizing people who disagree with them. People who have opinions, views that are different than what BuzzFeed believes, they want YouTube to demonetize them.
Now, real quick, I'm going to pause this video, and I really want you to read this article on David Seaman and what the whole thing is here. Now, it may seem like I'm blowing things out of proportion, but I don't really want you to read just the article. I want you to read between the lines of the article and what they're actually saying, what they're actually proposing. This is not a thing where they just kind of say, let's point this thing out. The problem that they're having is that, particularly in the last paragraph, you see what the problem is. The fact that certain media outlets, such as InfoWars, which, let's be real, is just as shitty as the other media outlets, but the problem is that people are looking at their media outlet instead of BuzzFeed. Please make sure you read this article to the last paragraph. The last paragraph sums it up. And notice they're using the same white supremacist Nazi thing. You know, they're virtue signaling this whole Nazi, this whole bullshit that they always throw out there to try to have a reason to shut people down. And of course, it's never going to be just the Nazis or just the white supremacists. You know it's not going to be that. Okay, the last paragraph tells you what BuzzFeed wants. They want to be the top of the food chain again. They're angry that people like David Seaman and Alex Jones and people like that are actually getting more interest than they are. This is some childish bullshit, right? This is childish. They're a multi-million-dollar organization. This is so freaking childish. But back to the video.
Now, many of us might look at that and say, surely YouTube won't do that because, reasons. We all know that's not true. We all know YouTube has tried in various ways and shapes and forms to kind of go against speech that they don't particularly like. But all in all, BuzzFeed making this call, you know what they want. They want people who disagree with certain points of view, particularly the ones that they hold, to be shut down. Now, whether you're on the right or on the left or in the center, everybody, many of us can agree just how toxic BuzzFeed is. BuzzFeed is toxic as hell. They make up narratives that, when you even look at them, many of them don't even make sense. We don't even need to go back to the man-spreading video. Now, many of the times, I'm willing to think, oh, BuzzFeed is just trolling. Surely this is a troll. They can't believe these things. I mean, these things don't even make sense, right? No, it's not a troll. It's not a troll. They believe a lot of the stuff they're saying, and if they don't believe it, they sure seem like they do, because they're very much open to censoring people on the internet, trying to get people who disagree with them to be censored. And you can check this news article. I'll link it in the description so you can read it, and so you can see Nathyn's not just talking out his ass. He's actually telling the truth about this. This is what BuzzFeed wants. And this is a problem that I have with a lot of people like BuzzFeed and a lot of people who do this kind of thing. The idea is never to correct your actions. It's always to correct everybody else's action. It's always to say, listen, what we're doing is right. Even if it's wrong, don't question us. We're doing this and you need to fall in line. So I think we all need to understand that BuzzFeed, they're not YouTubers. They're not just this little group of people who are together and they make these troll videos. They really have some power, and they intend to kind of use that power to get some stuff done. So they're not playing around, and they're not people. They're not basically an organization to play with. They are very much a powerful organization that can do stuff if they need to. And this is not an alarmist kind of thing, but it's just something to remind you who these people are, and that you should definitely take a look at them and what their views are. And if not, and I'm not even talking about their political views per se. I'm talking about what they feel is okay and what's not okay, and what they feel, I guess, should be censored. The kind of power they feel they should have online. They feel that they should be the people to dictate what's right, what's wrong, who can speak and who can't. And they want YouTube to back them up. So you can read this article and you can say, hey, Nate, you're being alarmist, or you can say, yeah, this is kind of what we always figured, whatever the deal is. But just keep this in mind and understand that it's not a game. And if you want to be able to keep speaking, especially in little groups like this where we have different people every week with different, or every day with different points of views and things like that, if you want to keep that kind of thing going, you got to watch out for organizations like BuzzFeed. You got to watch out for these organizations. They are out to crush free speech. They are out, or let's just say they're open to crushing free speech. They're open to, and I understand, before we get into the whole free speech argument, I understand that YouTube is not obligated to play by the rules of free speech. I understand YouTube is not the government. Even though the circle gets tighter and tighter probably every day, you still have a decent amount of free speech on YouTube. You can say a lot of things and put a lot of different ideas out there. But the fact of the matter is, there are people who are totally open and willing to help destroy the free speech. And a few weeks ago I told you, watch that. I told you, go watch that video about free speech. Watch that video, and there are people who thought I was like, oh, there are people who poo-pooed it, and now you have this big organization saying, hey, demonetize people who are saying things we don't like, which again, is YouTube has every right to do it. But that doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do, and it doesn't mean that, and this is basically another corporation deciding who should have what. And let's keep that in mind. So the big corporation deciding for us what we should be able to listen to, and basically who should get paid for their work, who should get paid for the things they speak. Listen, if you got someone saying something you don't like, but they're getting millions of views, then to YouTube, it makes sense to continue monetizing them, okay? That's business. That's capitalism. But what about the smaller YouTuber that's saying stuff that they may not like, it doesn't make sense particularly for YouTube to keep monetizing that channel. So these are things that I just want you guys to keep in mind. I want you guys to look at and understand it's not a joke. It's not a game. These guys are out here playing for keeps, and they're doing stuff. These guys aren't even doing it under the covers. They're telling you flat to your face, we think you should demonetize people who disagree with us. And we don't even know, nobody even really knows what Buzzfeed believes in. I mean, we think that they're this hardcore liberal organization, but I was under the impression that half of the stuff they just did for the money. You know, I was under the impression half of this shit was just bullshit. You know, it's just stuff that they were saying because they know they control people and get money. But apparently they're pretty serious about this. If we are to take this piece seriously, and I do take it seriously, considering all the stuff that's happening right now, the terrestrial media, and it's kind of odd because terrestrial media is coming after us hard. Buzzfeed is not terrestrial media. Buzzfeed is the internet. They got their start on the internet. They got their start just like a lot of us got our starts, things like that. They're not terrestrial media, yet somehow, some way they want to pretend that they are. You know, they want to have that same attitude that everybody else in the terrestrial media has. Let's go against YouTube. So it's kind of, you know, let's go, whoever's big on YouTube, let's try to take that person down because we don't like YouTube. And my final thought on this is, I assume that some of the YouTubers, some of the bigger YouTubers, are actually making them lose money. They're actually probably losing money because people are exposing them almost on a constant and daily basis. People are making fun of them consistently, but never would they correct their actions. Now, you can't have that. It's really got to be us correcting our actions, us evil YouTubers who may not think exactly what they think. So, and yes, let's be clear about something. In the end, it's about money. It's always about money. Remember that. It's always about the cash. And I think some of these bigger YouTubers are costing them a little bit of money. People are unsubscribing to BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed they probably aren't making as much money. People are probably complaining about them. It wouldn't shock me if people were flagging their videos. So BuzzFeed might be losing a little bit of money from the amount of conversation that goes on around them. In their mind, they believe they're the heroes. They're the champions. They're the great organization, and everybody else is just being mean to them. So I guess that's what's going on right now. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. Remember who we're dealing with. This is not just a little group of YouTubers who we can crack on, and maybe they might crack on us or something like that. And this is a multi-million-dollar organization. And if they feel like bringing down the hammer, they can play some cards to bring down the hammer. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, other than that, you take it easy. Bionic Dance is up tomorrow. Nathyn Brandon Masters.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason